Hi guys, I've been asked by a viewer how I actually plan out my pages and what size I know to print my photos at and how I plan out, because I do use different. So here I've got, maybe I think that's a design L from memory. Then I've got an A here. Over here I'll have a 6x12 with 6 pockets, which is that one. Not sure the brand of that, so it's not an A it may be an A that I've cut down, or it could be just one that I found somewhere else. Back here, so this is a panoramic. Is that in the screen? That's a panoramic one. This is a design U, I think. So you can see I just use a whole bunch of different ones. So I'll run through with you and explain to you how I plan them roughly. Please excuse my dirty fingernails today. I've been playing with my jelly plate and made a big fat mess yesterday, and I cannot get the paint from under my nails. I need to find a nail brush and give it a good dig. So please bear with me. It's my first time I've ever done a screen recording. I'll do my best and see if I can explain it more clearly. Thank you. In Microsoft PowerPoint, put all my photos, sort them out by week, and then I actually put them into what week they are. So let's say week 5. Here's week 5 here. So I'll just drag all the photos across. I've automatically set the layout size for this as 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. And then when I resize the photos, I resize the small ones. So let's say I'm doing a 3x4, I'll resize it. I'll go into that and I'll resize as size and position, and I'll make it 7.5 by 10. This way I know I can get 3 down in the 30 centimeters because they're 10 long, and I can get 4 across. And I've just set it so that it snaps to the grid, just so that they line up. So all I do is I bring all my photos across. I try and look for common themes, common stories. So this one was kids going back to school, and then down here was returning to racquetball for the year, I think it was, or racquetball training, that's what it was. So this isn't necessarily how it turns out in the album, but this is just the planning stage. Then I'll realize that there's another small story and another small story before I go into week 6. So these two weren't enough to do a page. So what I did is I've planned it and thought, well, let's do them. So I've decided that's going to be half of a 12x12, so it's a 6x12, and I've just found pockets, or I've cut down pockets. Either way, I think it's design U from memory, but I could be wrong there. And then go to the next one. Sorry about the ugly foot. In the actual original, in the actual real page, that's under a flip up. So even though it says that this is how it looks, this isn't exactly how it turns out in the real thing. So this is a flip up. So all I've done is I've popped one photo there, and then I've kind of got them sitting there so that they're kind of poking out the bottom, so you can see what's going to go underneath it. It's a flip up, and often I'll put a little thing, a little title on that to say flip up, to remind me that it's a flip up. So then, like this, that's not how it turned out. It turned out a bit differently to that, but this is just the planning stage. This is how I decide what size. So this page, for instance, I knew that I needed a 6x4 in order to get this data in that was actually rosters and stuff. So it meant that I knew that I was going to need to use something that had the 6x4 orientation portraits. So as I put them all in, I look ahead. So that's week 9 and week 9. Sometimes that's on the left, sometimes that's on the right. I don't care either way, as long as the stories are getting told. So I tend to print my landscapes as 4x6 and my portraits as 3x4. And then I just keep slotting them in, and let's get down to more recently, so you can get an idea. So all I've done here, so you can see, I'm just shoving pictures in. That's not how it turned out. This was the planning process. When I actually come to actually doing it, it came out very different. And then sometimes I'll just say, you know, I'll just pop that in to say this is what it's going to be, because I don't actually have copies of. Here, this is a 9x12 page, so I've made this one smaller because I knew I just wanted to do a small picture of that and that. So when I actually had these printed, I printed them both as a 3x4, but I also printed them on a collage, just a like wallet size. So I tend to use, I like this layout, the I think it's Design U from memory. And so I use a lot of 6x12s. So this is all used for planning process type thing. It's not actually how it will end up. It's just so I can work out these are the photos I want to use for this week. This is kind of the stories that they are, and however it turns out after that is however it turns out. So I'll go back and show you like week 5 and 6 was week 5 there. I think this one's pretty true to how it actually turned out. And then week 6 was that, although that becomes a flip up. And that, I think I've just moved some things around on this one. And I'll drop to the actual real thing and show you what that looks like. So guys, this is what the real thing actually looked like when it was finished. So as you can see, relatively similar. I've moved a couple of photos around at the top there, but otherwise it stayed the same. I really wanted to use this card with that because of the colouring. So the week 5 got moved down there. This was that 6x12 that I was telling you about. So I think I've cut a photo down. Otherwise I've kept them relatively the same. Over here, same thing. I haven't changed too much on that one. Then over this one, so I've swapped photos around. I made the flip up, which always seems to be in the up position, so I need to do something about that. Yep, cut the photos down, made a flip up with that, and otherwise the other half of 6. Yep, so that got cut down. I think that was originally printed as a 6x4 and it was going to be a 6x4. And then I decided to change and just make it a small one so I could put a little bit of information in for the week. Otherwise, same photos, cut some down and others I leave original size. And then over here, I've got my flip up of the darker pictures. They're underneath just because they're dark and they don't really go with the rest of the layout. So hopefully that explains my process for how I plan out my pages and the sizings of the photos. And then, so what I do is I pick out the stories I want, I work out what it is, and then I pull out my special little trusty guide that I made. So I made a little guide of all the different protectors and what they are. Inside I've got a little record of how many of each I've got, so I know if I'm running out of any. Some I've made my own codes for, just so I know what I'm talking about. But generally the first A to Z are Becca Higgins ones. Then the others will be We Are Memory Keepers, other companies that, I think that was Colorblock or something like that. And this is just other sizes that aren't 12x12. So, you know, I know I've got the 9x12s, you know, how many, and then I can look in there and say, oh, I've only got one of that left, so I won't use that one. So hopefully that helps and answers some questions. But any other questions, please let me know and I'll try and do a video for that too. Thank you. See ya.